Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and good evening. We are live on Apex Racing TV from the World Center of Racing in Daytona, USA for the penultimate round of the official iRacing Le Mans series. I'm Marco Barbanera. Joining me in the booth and behind the cameras is Sam Kumo. Hello, Sam.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. And yeah, we are back at America after last week spending a nice race evening at Le Mans. There we saw a really high SOF competition level in the GTEs. I believe it was like, I think it was 6.3 SOF, I think. Do you remember exactly?
I don't remember, but I remember that it was a crazy high number, and we have right now on the screen the, I think, brand new SOF totals. I've never seen that in a broadcast, and you can see the SOFs are quite high. Once again, the GT takes the cake, but it's massive high SOF all around this field composed of LMP1s in yellow, LMP2 in blue, and the GTEs in red. As qualifying is almost over, it's going to be interesting to see these cars, especially the LMP1s, which we don't normally see around the high banks of Daytona. And also the HPDs once used to rule this land, but now they have been since replaced by the DPs, and we have the championship points, of course, with Patrick Wolf with a huge lead over Fabrice Cornelis in second place, is Marcus Hamilton in P3, Florian Kruger in P4, and Thierry Rensen in P5. Then the LMP2, Johan Hart is the leader. He's got 110 points over Neil Andrews, and it's Carlo Labate, Fraser Williamson, and Carlos Benedy in fifth position. And of course, the GT class, Gianni Vecchio is in first place. Michele Ricci is not here tonight in second place. David Peña Jimenez is in third place. Jorge Valls is in fourth, and Bruno Fontalba in fifth place. It's a night race, Sam, so it's a very well-lit track, so we shouldn't have the problems that we have, for example, in some of the other tracks where the not very well lit, and it's difficult to see the cars and just see a blob of white and yellow, depending on the headlights. And of course, even if we don't enjoy the racing, I think we will do, at the end we will get fireworks, so it's a win-win situation in the end.
Yeah, this is kind of a like USA style night race, because it has to support also the oval races, and oval cars, they do not have headlights, so it is going to be a well-lit track. Unlike, let's say, we had the Motegi, which is interesting because it's almost like half-lit. It's part of it is on the oval circuit, but the infield course is pretty dark. And then you of course have circuits like Spa and Le Mans, which only really have lighting at the like straights and pit area.
Good to see some unusual names out there. I see the Euro V8 champion Michael F. Doka in the field for the LMP2s, as we are 1 minute away from the end of qualifying. Of course, I already send you the invitation to join us for the season finale next week, this time live from Sebring, another classic American track, as the drivers are trying to get in the final lap of their qualifying to get maybe a couple positions better. The energy deployment system for the LMP1s will play a huge game, I think, especially since you go flat out for so long in this track, and there are not a lot of braking zones, so of course the Porsche will be a little bit easier to save energy, because that can save energy also in the straights, whilst the Audi, yeah, there are a couple of, there's the hard braking zone when you go in the infield, but apart from that, it's absolutely impossible, I think, to harvest energy in the Audi. As qualification is over, and we can give you the starting grid for this event. So it's Patrick Wolf on pole position, Mark Elkeman is in second place, Fabrice Cornelis is in third, Sayandra in fourth, Dimitri Linev is in fifth, and Patrick Moser, Christopher Weil, Julian Grönen, Pascal Kroderlein, Benjamin Gregory, Antoine Cousin, Andre Martins. This is the LMP1 field, but it's not over because we also have Ryan Littelman and Stefan Valda. Then we have the LMP2 with Johan Hart in pole position. It's Carlo Labatis in second, Nidanius in third, Marie Rushka is in fourth place. Then Michael Evdoka, Frederic Sbardellini. I've had many battles with him in the Skip Barbers back in the days. Jakob Lehmann, Matthew Hogg, Victor Fuente, Carlos Benedi, Mark Gammack and Maria Olvek in last place. And then it's the GT with my good friend Aldo Massa on pole position, Maxim Bryant in second place, and Jason Staney in third, Eric Teskes in fourth, Joel Guetz, very famous name around iRacing, in fifth position. Then Richard Alsop, Casper De Kort, Tim Greven, Juan Diego Salguero, Carlos Villa from the United States, and then we have Bruno Fontalba, Cedric Nebelsic, Timo Gorlich, Gabriel Rose, and closing the field is Barry Morrison, a driver we usually see in front of the pack. So it's going to be a climb from last place for him in the GT.
So this will be again a rolling start here. And I think here the LMP should be able to just pull away easily. But let's see. I think there's enough space here that I don't think we will have any kind of bottlenecking here happening.
I don't think so, as cars are starting to roll. So very short pace lap. It's just the bus stop, and then it's, well, it's a very tough first corner, Sam. Let's say this. We have hard braking zone on the left side of the track. Then it's a difficult corner. Looks easy on paper, very difficult. You get down from, wouldn't say the banking, but it's not perfectly flat. It's a little bit pointing toward the inside there, the track on the super speedway. And then of course, huge risk of getting out. There's a decent runoff area, and of course the other trouble spot is going to be that bus stop on the backstretch between NASCAR 2 and NASCAR 3. So we're almost ready. Pace car flashing the lights.
And
pace car is in. And here we go. It's Patrick Wolf, Cornelis, Elkeman taking the start, as we see people already side by side in the LMP1 as we go into the first corner. Massive group of cars trying to get through without making too many contacts, as now we see the LMP2 with Hart, Labati, Rushka in third place, battling with also Neil Andrews. Everything seems fine in the second prototype class, as in the GT. Aldo Massa has
he has maintained the lead. Yes, maintained the lead, and just the change of position behind him with Jason Staney overtaking Maxime Bryant, and more behind them.
Not starting the race, so we have the first casualty of the evening. 1 hour race, so Sam, as per usual, we've been here for the entire season, but if you are a new viewer of this series, we welcome you, and we will say that it's going to be a one-stop race for all the categories involved, as we see Elkeman and Andra battling it out for P3. So we are expecting only fuel, no tires, and the LMP1 will stop first, then the LMP2 and the GTs, with the LMP2 stopping a little bit earlier than the GTs, but the strategy is to get your pit stop as late as possible. As you see, the crazy high speeds that these cars are getting through the tri-oval. And now down into turn 1, side by side, Elkeman and Andra. Extremely dangerous spot there to try to make a move. Andra is still in front as the first lap is over, and it's going to be 1 hour of action. I think it's not very easy, Sam, to get a breakaway in this track, especially if you don't have a lot of difference in the pace between you and the guy you are battling with.
Certainly it is very difficult to just run away from each other, because as soon as you get to the straights, you have just massive draft there, and this is one of those tracks that you really need to, let's say you are on a final couple laps, you need to think about when you make the move, because it is so easy to lose possession instantly on the next lap because of the draft that you get.
Carlo Labati looking on the inside of Johan Hart there for P1 in the LMP2 field, but it's not a very easy corner to pass there. You need to basically dive bomb on the inside, and the car in front of you trying to do the corner is going to cut because you want the best possible exit. We are on board with Frédéric Sbardellini, the French driver.
And here you can see that even if you are following very closely, but because it's just a group of cars really, so everyone is benefiting from the draft, it's still not that easy to make the pass. And perhaps we see Labati going for a move here.
Carlo Labati on the outside. He has the position right now, but he will have the worst line getting into turn 1, as they are almost side by side, and in fact it's Johan Hart that gets the position back so briefly. I think Labati led that lap as they go into the International Horseshoe. This very, very funny named right-hander there. And now flat out through the kink, this very, very fast left-hander. It's a very simple track. That is why this is the only endurance race I do during the year. But it's all very, very hectic, because like we said, there is no way to get away from a car if you are running the same pace. As we are going back to the oval once again. And I have to tell you, maybe people will be surprised by this, but this is my favorite endurance racing track in the world. And the Daytona 24 Hours is every year the endurance race I wait for the most, because it's fantastic track and easy, but you have to be so careful every time you go around. As we see, Aldo Massa had a decent lead in the first corner, probably because the guys behind him were battling, but right now Taney has caught back to him due to the draft. They have a little bit of a gap, and we see that there's a little bit of Ferrari domination tonight. The Porsches, there are only 3 of them, and there's no Ford.
Yeah, that's a bit unusual, considering I think we've mostly seen the Mercedes and the Porsches lately, but now it's just field of Ferraris. And yeah, also about what you were saying about this track, and I think the bus stop chicane adds a lot to it, because that just makes it more interesting for these cars. Otherwise it would just be a too long straight, but because of that chicane you have to be constantly aware of who you're racing with, cars behind you, cars in front of you, and just constantly be on your guard, instead of just having a moment to relax in the straight like you would usually do maybe at Le Mans.
And also this chicane is mandatory in order to have the race, because it is required to have a chicane by FIA rules, which they are not directly organizing the Daytona 24 Hours, but I think you need the homologation to have the cars running there. Basically, since for example, the GT class and the GT Le Mans class in the IMSA series have a twin rule book. So basically you need to have that chicane there, because otherwise it would be too long of a straight per FIA rules, if we consider that the straight starts here and ends into turn 1 if you don't have that chicane right there. But it's also a very, very tough chicane, and we've seen many times people having to take evading action through the grass, or people just flat out spinning out of that corner, as we see Joel Guetz going in on a move and completing the move, as keep getting to P3 right now in the GT class. So we don't see Joel run frequently. He is, of course, very famous for his JRT program, which helps many iRacers, myself included. And he's also, like we are seeing right now, a very competent driver sitting in P3 right now. But you see the draft.
Yeah.
It's the draft. Brent is had a good exit from the chicane woods, and now Brent is once again on his rear bump. So.
Yeah, that's really the thing with the chicane. If you make an overtake there, you will most definitely sacrifice some of the exit speed. But yeah, there was a question on the chat, seeing that the Ferrari is really popular now. What do you think about the Ferrari GTE Challenge Series? Was it GT3 Challenge Series
GT3,
with the big setup? Yeah.
Fantastic.
What do you think about it? Yeah.
I think it's fantastic decision. The GT3 is a very popular car. Sad to see that car go out from IMSA due to limitations, of course. And it's going to provide a fun challenge. I think it's going to be very quick 15-minute races, fixed setup, D-class, so it's going to be a good entry. I'm just a little bit skeptical because they are going to keep the... As Labati fell down to P4, in the meantime we have Rushka and Andrews side by side. It's going to be a little bit taking a bit of participation away from the Roof GT3 series, also at D-class fixed series. But we'll see, because all races are a bit longer, I think around 25 minutes, and the Ferrari will be very, very, very quick racing, and very, you know, they will have races every hour, just like the Skip Barber. So, I mean, for a race here and there, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a bit of carnage in the lower splits, but that car is so popular, so we need to have, I think, another series, as Staney has been now has passed Aldo Massa, but Massa running set. We see the replay here. He had just a better run coming out of the oval, I think.
That might be a slowdown.
Or a slowdown, yeah?
Yeah, that's definitely a slowdown. Yeah, that's
as the LMP1s are coming.
Oh! Man,
these LMP1s...
That's not the place to make overtake. And now Aldo Massa is able to benefit from that and get the lead back.
Wow, that was a crazy moment. The first time it took 9 minutes for the LMP1s to get back to the GTs, I think, because this is a very short lap, but also a very fast lap as Massa on the inside now, Staney trying to take the lead back, since he's basically flat out most of the time. Speed differential is huge, but, you know, sometimes these Le Mans, these LMP1 cars are especially good coming out of the corner, but this is basically a flat-out track. We saw the LMP1s catch the traffic quicker in the past. Closer line now, P9 for him. Oh, you don't want to do that. And this will not go down well with the officials.
Yeah, and now he cannot get back on the banking until at the end of the corner. But yeah, there you can really see the difference between straight line sprint and especially at the acceleration. How these guys just shoot out of the corners. And now this is really like the position and spot of the track where you want to make those overtakes. And you see him blinking the lights a little bit just to notify the guys that he is coming there really fast. But now it's where it gets hairy. With the turn 1, it starts very wide, but then it tightens up, and yeah. We see Anthony Cousin wisely perhaps deciding to just wait that corner, make the move here. And now there was no problem because he was already made himself known, and the GTE Ferrari knew to expect him.
That was Cousin, not Clothesline. Apologies about that. And yeah, some people also in the live YouTube chat that you can join, of course. There's also a link for the live timing there, are a bit perplexed about the apron abuse there, which is always a point of very, 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 very hot contention in the run-up and during the official Daytona 24 hours, as Labati is catching back up. He was sitting in first place, then he fell down to fourth, and now he's back to second, getting by Andrews and Rushka, and trying to catch up to Johan Hart there, but Johan Hart has got a little bit of a lead now, helped, of course, by the battles between P2, P3 and P4, with Sbardelini and Evdoka in P5 and P6 waiting for their chance there.
Yeah, about the use of the apron, I think what we saw there he was basically using it to make a safe overtake on the GTEs. So I think that should be just fine, because then you're just making sure that you're not squeezing them too much. But of course, if you are using that to gain advantage to your opponents and let's say qualify, then that becomes pretty questionable.
So Labati made quick work of Andrews and Rushka, but now due to the draft, it's tough for him to get away from his opponents, and we see Neil Andrews trying to line up a move, maybe, as Hogg has had some troubles because he fell down the order and down to last place in the LMP2s in the blink of an eye. As his drivers go past the start-finish line, once again you see the correction Andrews had to make whilst coming out of the first corner. You can cut a bit of curve here and there in the second corner there, then to the international horseshoe.
You also saw that Andrew was pretty much limited on the gearing there, so that's why he couldn't approach. So perhaps he is running gearing that was maybe ideal for running on empty track.
Yeah, as Labati locking the front brakes, front right there, getting into the western horseshoe as we go back to the oval.
And also Rusha really close to Andrews here.
Yeah, these three guys I think are going to battle all race long.
Yeah, Labati has really good top speed considering he doesn't have the draft, and looking at top speeds, they were pretty much equal last lap around. Hrushka was fastest, but Labati and Andrews were both topping at 306. And just for comparison, the LMP1s are running in 340s, just under 350 kilometers per hour.
I have to say these drivers are also behaving very well. There's not been much chaos to report about. Of course, this is the top of top. The best drivers in iRacing are here basically for this race. So close quarter battles are going to be expected, but I'm also expecting a lot of clean driving. The real danger, of course, like we saw just a few minutes ago, is going to be the overtakes, especially from the LMP1s. And you know, the dreaded situation when LMP1, LMP2 and GT are all trying to lap each other, and that's when the trouble can really happen. We saw maybe the only dangerous moments at the 24-hour of Le Mans last week were these ones, where you had three classes trying to make the pass, and very high differences of speed. So, but these three guys are going to battle. Well, these two guys and the girl, of course, in fourth place are going to battle a long way. I think, unless anything catastrophic happens, this is going to be a battle until the end of the race, and we still have 45 minutes left in this one. So, long ways to go as we see the LMP1s with Mandra on camera and Moser right behind him, making their way through some of the LMP2 traffic.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on these guys. Andra and Moser, they've been really close to each other, but they've just kind of been running the traffic and haven't really been able to kind of establish their positions. So far it looks like Andra is slightly faster, but just hasn't been able to kind of deal with the traffic as quickly. We can see Elkman... no, that is Moser again. Or is it Elkman? No, it's Andra and Moser, yeah. Oh, this is so confusing. So many cars on the track.
Yeah, we have another retirement. It's out of the LMP1 class. It's Benjamin Gregory. He's out of the race, so we have two retirements. One, Barry Morrison didn't start in the GT class, and Gregory is out. And I also think Og in the LMP2 class had to go into the pits for extensive repairs. This is the battle for the lead then. Patrick Wolf and Fabrice Cornelis, they've been battling all season long basically. They are teammates, they are extremely fast, they've had their fair share of great races, but also big issues. as Ryan, as Littlemore goes into the pits. Ryan Littlemore, yes, and as we see,
yes,
how you have to be careful there because you can get quite easily a slowdown coming out of the bus stop.
Yeah, this is Cornelis here, looking at Patrick Wolf, and 3-way through the traffic.
Yep. Easy like a knife through butter, and then hard braking zone here.
Cornelis not pushing too hard, because of course it is his teammate, and they are looking for a good result here.
Behind them, Elkeman has closed the gap a little bit. Also a teammate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, at least the paint shop looks same.
Yeah, as there's another car there, one of the Ferraris. Between the top two and the third guy. Oh, look at that. Some battling in front of the leaders. We saw what happened at Watkins Glen. And now it's going to be like Fast and Furious action, driving through the traffic on the high banks of Daytona, out of NASCAR 2 and now into the backstretch as Cornelis takes the lead momentarily. And through the bus stop as well, he is the new leader. More traffic ahead as these three Porsches are running away from the rest of the opposition. And hopefully the team manager is on the radio, and they are on the radio with each other, coordinating, I think, hopefully. Oh, another scary moment here as they go into the first corner. Cornelis on the inside of the Ferrari. Wolf a little bit boxed out there. Elkeman trying to gain an advantage. Like you said, it's always tough, but even more difficult when you are running with your teammates, and I think that Porsche gave just a little bit of a tap to the back of Patrick Wolf's car. Nothing serious, of course, but we know how much aerosensitive these LMP1 cars are, so you want to avoid contact as much as possible.
Yeah, cannot see any major damage there, but even a small tap like that could just cost you a huge amount of speed, which is crucial.
Oh, and contact! Elkeman is around in the grass. He was hit in the back by a GT car. Let's go check the replay. That yellow Ferrari there, I think it was. Yeah, contact. He went into the back of the Porsche there, and Elkeman is in the grass.
That was really unfortunate there. I think the Ferrari just got caught up by the mid-corner speed of the Elkeman.
He's trying to make his way back up through the field. Patrick Moser and Andra, of course, went by Elkeman, so he has his work cut out for him. He needs to push hard, hopefully without damage or without major damage, because the hit was there. And he will try to get the move on his teammate as well. Patrick Moser there in front.
Let's take a look at the GTE field. There's still good battle going over the lead, but it hasn't
was
really
it
changed.
Aldo Massa that turned the LMP1 car there?
You know what? It could be. It was a yellow Ferrari, and I don't think we have any yellow Ferraris here, and at least Aldo is in the right position where he could have been there, because they were going through like a pack of really close battling GTEs, and this is the closest battle I think we have to the GTEs right now, with Massa, Guels, Dane, Brian.
Guels is up to P2, and I'm seeing some quite heavy damage on the right rear of that Aldo Massa yellow Ferrari there.
Let's see if we can see it on board here. On board QS coming into the bus stop. Yeah, there's definitely damage to the right side, and I believe...
Oh, an LMP1 cut through the bus stop.
Was that Elkeman?
I don't think so, because it was behind an Audi. So
okay. It looked like it was a blue one.
Yeah, but light blue. So I think it was not one of the leaders, as
No, it was not Wellman. It was Dimitri Lainev, I believe.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was him. Yeah, and that was always you know, during the 24 hours of Le Mans, it's always a scary moment. Sorry, of Daytona, it's always a scary moment when someone goes through that pass stop there, because you don't know if they are going to safely brake or, you know, God forbid they touch the grass, as we see some very tight action here with the LMP2s trying to go by the GTE leaders on board with Joel Goods looking behind. It's I think the leaders of the LMP2 class trying to go through the GTE field. So
yeah,
the LMP2s are faster, yeah, but also the LMP1s are also in there. So the worst possible combination, all the three categories running neck and neck with each other, trying to get a move, to not lose too much time. Some three-wide action on the high banks of Daytona, and it's not NASCAR.
Yeah, that's the third place battle for the LMP2s. They're going on as well, in the same kind of pack of cars, with Andrews, Ruska and Spadellini. But they seem to be getting just one through the bus stop at least.
Man, looking at these GT cars, they almost feel like they are stuck when one of the LMP1s go by on the high banks of Daytona. But actually the GTs are going very fast. It's just as these LMP1 cars are absolute rocket ships. As Andrews sitting in P3, Labate was able to get a little bit of a gap on these guys thanks to the very quick decisions while lapping the GT field. And Johan Hart, of course, still sits in first place by 2.3 seconds over the Italian driver of Trustmaster Mivano Racing. As we see one of the Audis, very brightly colored yellow and gray. Nice to see some Audis represented on the field. Not the ideal track for the Audi.
No, definitely not ideal, because with Audis you really need those hard braking zones, and you're not generating any energy while you're on a straight. Whereas with the Porsche, you have energy recovery system tied to your exhaust, so it is able to use the exhaust gas and thermal energy there to recharge your hybrid system.
Elkeman made a move on his teammate Moser, so I think his car is feeling good despite that pretty significant hit by the Ferrari there, going back to the NASCAR oval. And now we will be hunting down, I think, Andra, as the top speed you see is a bit down for Elkman. But Patrick Wolf doesn't have a very high top speed right now, so he could live with it.
Yeah, that could also be just on that particular lap he was perhaps in traffic, or just couldn't get a good exit out of the corner. But we can definitely see like Moser and perhaps Cousin as well. Is it Cousin or Cousin? Whichever it is. Sorry, I will butcher the pronunciation.
I think it's from France, so Cousin, I think, Cousin? Even though I don't speak that language. But yeah, very down on top seat 339, so... Might be setup, might be damage. We will hopefully see during the race, as I think that the LMP1 pit stops are getting closer and closer.
Yeah, we are just about at the halfway point, so we should be expecting them soon, although the leaders will probably pit much later, considering they want to keep the track position there and not have to deal with the other LMPs that are pitting much later. Much sooner, I mean.
Going into the first corner is the French driver. Let's go back to Labate then, which is closing in on Johan Hart pretty quickly, I might add. Now it's half a second there
Yeah, I'm looking at the lap times, and Hart's last lap was really slow. It looks almost like he got caught up with some issues on the final sector, because it was almost 2 seconds slower than Labati's. So perhaps there was traffic, or maybe even a slowdown of the bus stop. Because I believe the sector 5 is really only just the exit of bus stop.
It looked very, very slow for a second when you just switched the cameras on him, so maybe it was at the tail end of a slowdown. Now the gap is 0.6 of a second, but the damage is done for Art, because now Labati is in his slipstream and we'll have the advantage of course, staying very, very close to Art. Also, not only can go for a move, maybe save a little bit of fuel, have a little bit of a shorter pit stop when the time comes to go into the pits.
Yeah, again, we don't exactly know what kind of strategy each driver is running. So we see a pit stop there, that is Gabriel Roos in the GTEs. That might be just a pit stop to get repairs done.
Labati keeping 0.4 of a seconds there from Hart, now down to the 0.3s, but still good top speed from Johan Hart there, but now at the tail end of the front stretch you see how much Labati is closing after having a little bit of a slower exit, I think, from the bus stop, as Hart has to go defensive, hugging the white line very tightly going into turn 1.
It also looked like Hart was really unstable under braking. If you saw how he was approaching the turn 1, as soon as he got on the brakes, the tail end twitched around just a little bit, so maybe his car just isn't quite there with the low fuel, so he must be just looking forward to the pit stop. Because that sometimes happens, that when you stop the car for a long run, just for those final couple of laps, it just starts to get really twitchy, as Christoph Moser is in the pits.
Yeah, so he's the first LMP1 to pit. Remember also he had a little bit of he might have a little bit of damage there, so we'll see his pit stop time, as also Cousin is in. Cloderline is in as well, even though I think he had maybe a little bit of problem because he's already in the pits, whilst his opponents and also Martins is in as well. Moser is exiting the pits, 19-second stop. So I'm expecting all the other LMP1s to come in a matter of 1/2 laps at the most, because all these guys are trying to run their tanks up until the point they are completely empty.
And just there you saw the very narrow pit exit, and it is extra difficult because you have that wall there. You cannot see if someone is coming out, so you have to be both looking at your relative screen and also just where you're going, because you don't have any room for error there. And it is not uncommon. Yeah, it is not uncommon to see guys just clipping the grass, being too distracted by seeing if there's anyone coming, to see where they are going.
As the top 4 in the LMP1 pit, also on the left side you have those yellow speed bumps, and they will completely destroy your car, even if you go over them at 10 kilometers per hour. So it's one of the toughest pit exit in all of iRacing, as you see Wolf, Elkeman, Cornelis, Andra, Gronen, Linef, everybody is in the LMP1 field.
And Cornelis should be leaving first, and he does. After that it is Wolf. Next one is Sai Andra. But Elkeman maintains position.
You see those yellow speed bumps there. Absolutely avoid them like the plague. So Cornelis, Wolf, Elkeman, Andra, Moser, and now we see the guys that, like, Linef is in as well, so Gronen is in 6th, Linef coming out, he will be ahead of, I think, all the other guys that are still on the track, as we see this fantastic battle for P3, with Andra in the, basically, on the bumper of Elkman, and he's already been hit there, so he doesn't want to have any kind of necessary contact once again. Andra will of course have the slipstream there of Elkman. So as you see, Elkman pushing on that hybrid system, I think deployment, manual override button, and disappearing for a bit in the distance.
But now you see that he has hit the top speed, and the speed instantly falls off because these cars have so much downforce that you simply cannot maintain the top speed for long after you boosted there with the hybrid. As they are
Sam,
overtaking, that might be our GT
Aldo
leader.
Massa, I think, yeah. So all the LMP1s have been into the pit at least once, so that's the LMP1 pit stops sorted. The LMP2s and the GTs, there are a couple of drivers in the pits, like Aldo Massa is in right now, Joel Guetz is in as well, Jakob Lehmann went in, but he's been there for a lot of time, so I think it's has some problems. As we see the pit stop times for the LMP1 leaders on the right side of your screen, and the positions gained and lost, of course, since I think the start of the race.
That is since the start, but what we see there, there's not a great difference really in the pit stop times. Only thing that really stands out there is Juran Gronen with 16.1. He's definitely taken much less fuel than everyone else. So usually these guys will not be taking any extra fuel, especially the guys at the top end. So it's gonna be interesting to see if he has the fuel. But what usually happens also is that you can just save a lot of fuel just by taking it easy really. But we'll see. There is also some little bit individual differences between drivers on how much they use fuel, how much they use throttle, how they use the throttle, how smooth they are, and really how fast they are.
GT stops, and Joel Guetz has overtaken Aldo Massa for P1 in the pit sequence. So we have a new leader, well, it's a virtual leader, of course, in GT. And where is Aldo Massa?
Aldo Massa is way down. So what has happened? Let's see if we can find out. What?
The stop time was equal.
I'm seeing something here, but let's see. This could be a false flag as well. No, that is spin. Yeah, spin in turn 1.
Very
so
uncommon mistake.
Oh, that
was very lucky.
No.
I mean, a driver of experience, a very, very weird mistake, and also a very strange way to re-enter the track. Aldo is one of the most famous Italian drivers on iRacing, extremely fast. I have the pleasure to know him, so I know he's fast, he's very experienced, but that he made a couple of mistakes, and he was very lucky to get away with it, because that spin is dangerous in itself, but the way he went back onto the track with like 5 cars coming in and avoiding him left and right, he was extremely lucky. But he is, I think, 17 seconds back from Joel Guetz. So
yeah, 90 seconds right now. Just being so impatient with the rejoin, it even cost him some time. So not only he overheated his rear tires, that will cost him seconds on the next lap, he also had to just stay there rather than if he were to just rejoin safely, like reverse off the racing line and then go back.
And we saw him make a mistake there, going wide at the entrance of the NASCAR turn 2. It's very difficult, Sam, to get back into your rhythm after making a mistake like that, and knowing that you basically went centimeters away from retirement, as we see the battle for the lead in GT right now. Even though these guys have yet to stop, they are Maxim Briant and Tim Greben.
Yeah, Briant and Greben. But there's still a good battle here, and will be interesting to see if they will be able to leap any drivers who took the pit stop early. But let's take a look at the track. So right now they are not really having to deal with too much LMP traffic here. Their sled is, let's see, where is Joel Guetz? Well, he has a few GTE drivers in front of him, but I don't know, that is just Timo Gerlich. I don't think that's gonna be a major issue there.
Yeah, he has the car in front of him has yet to stop. He's once again the leader, virtual leader of the LMP, the GTEs. As we are now waiting for all the drivers in their classes to get into the pits, come out, so we have a clearer picture of the situation, as we have nice shots
And
there
yes,
of the
a clearer picture there. Trying to see the pit lane. Yeah, we only had the final 2 pit stops for the LMP2s with Holbeck and Gamma.
Yeah, so the GTs, as per usual, will stop very, very late as they can. Eric Teske is in the pits, in the GT field, getting passed by Gues right now.
Yeah, we are way past the halfway point at this point. So I believe we will see Brent and Greven coming to make the stops maybe this time by or the next one. I don't think they will be running any much longer. There's of course on this track especially, and like high-speed tracks like this, there is a definite penalty for carrying the extra fuel. So you will be losing time on every single straight.
Yeah. So as the red Porsche goes by them into the bus stop, we are 21 minutes away from the end of the race here at Daytona. It's the official iRacing Le Mans series on Apex Racing TV. It's Wednesday night, and it's the penultimate race of the season. And what a classic track. What a special occasion, of course, as we see Greven into the pits while Brent goes on, hard on the brakes. Very, very tough pit entrance, and back straight into his pit stall for the Ferrari, as we see Villa defending from Steney. Ferrari versus Porsche, one of the few Porsches on the field today, like we said in the beginning of the broadcast. No Porsche on their home territory, so that's odd. But of course the Ferrari seems to be the winning car today, as you see on the left side of your screen. All the drivers with their respective car of choice, and you see lots and lots of yellow and few Porsche logos, especially in the bottom part of the standings. So lots and lots of Ferraris on the track, and it has been the winning choice. I've heard of a couple of Porsche drivers, Porsche regulars, not racing today. One of these is, of course, the current runner-up in the GT, Michele Ricci. He said, I have no chance today. So, well, he didn't participate. He's working hard for final race of the season in Sebring. And that's going to be a fantastic track, of course, and with all the bumps, completely different from this. Lot of bumps, very difficult, very long. And that is going to be sadly a day race, not a night race. It would have been nice to, end the season with back-to-back fireworks, as Brient is in the pits right now from the leading GT, as also the Belsik is in. And I think Villa, Steney, everybody's in.
And yeah, I mean, with the way iRacing leagues work, the official series works, you are allowed to was it 2 drop seasons, drop weeks?
4. 4 drop weeks.
Oh, okay, it's 4. So only the 8 weeks of the 12-week season really counts towards your points. So you can afford to miss 4 weeks. Although it's your weakest results per week that will be discarded. So of course, if you can, you should definitely run all the full 12-week season. But of course, it is understandable if you are running a car that is not very suitable for this track, then it might be discouraging to show up. But then again, if you have the time and the talent just learning to drive multiple different cars, because this series is obviously a series. It allows you to switch the cars. There's no limit on that. So if you can learn to, let's say, drive both Ferrari and Porsche and maybe Mercedes, then you're all good. Like you can just adapt and pick the best car for each track. Of course, that's not something you can do in real world racing, because that would get really expensive really quickly, but that is possible in iRacing. So, Marco, sorry, you are breaking up really badly. So, can you check if the connection is okay? In the meantime, just checking back on the LMP once. We have Cornelis leading. The gap has... it is just under 2 seconds, so it is not too far for Wolf to make the move. But it is going to be difficult, and now he's losing another 2 or 3 tenths to Cornelis. And they're slightly held up by the LMP2 of... was that the leader? Could have been. And third place, Mark Elkman, he is starting to really fall back right now. It might be just a little bit of air damage that he got from the contact. But he is already 3.5 seconds behind Patrick Wolf. Also, update on the LMP2s. Johan Hart and Karola Pati having good battle here for the first place. With only 15 minutes of the race remaining, I think this is going to be a really exciting battle to follow. They've been pretty close to the pace all race long, so really interested to see what's happening here. And in the GTEs, Jolguez has regained the lead now that everyone has pitted. Tim Greven is second. I believe he overtook Maxim Bryant, because now Bryant is third and Nebelsiek fourth. And Marco, are you there?
I think so. I have no idea what's going on.
Okay, now I hear you. Now we hear you.
Yeah, I think that our it's always internet causing troubles on Wednesday evening, as per usual. But we see a move for P2 right now in GT. Brent and Greven. So you see Aldo Massa lost a boatload of positions there, from fighting for the win to fighting for P10 basically right now. So costly mistake.
Okay, so let's see here. Did anyone have a extraordinarily long pit stop? Because I'm wondering about the... Hold on a second. Just worrying. No, never mind. Just me being kind of confused. Never mind.
So,
yeah, I was wondering about the GTEs with Bryant and Greven.
So these two guys...
Oh, again, you are breaking up pretty badly.
running Sam, can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you. Yes, you are breaking up. I was just looking at the... Evdoka had some issue on this lap. Lost quite a bit of position. Just lost under braking. Tapped the wall. But it seems like he is able to continue. Let's see, can we hear you?
Yeah, I mean, everything is fine on my hand, but I don't know what's going on. Italian connections, yeah. So I have no idea because everything is reading fine in the tests I'm making. So hopefully it will hold up for this final 15 minutes of the race, as I saw Michael Evdoka go into the gravel there, making that mistake, trying to get back where he was.
Yeah, was able to easily pass Mario Hruska there. It might be, yeah, Hruska must be definitely carrying some damage because his top speed is way down. 293, 294 this time by, which is about over 10 kilometers per hour, slower than everyone else on the LMP2s.
So everyone has taken their pit stop, so we have a clearer picture right now of the situation in all of the classes, and we can maybe give you a quick rundown of the positions, starting from the LMP1 field. We have Fabrice Cornelis in first place, Patrick Wolf is in second, and Moser is in the pits. What's going on here? Let's see, previous stop was 19 seconds. And also Aldo Massa is out of the race.
Yeah, I just saw that Aldo Massa has crashed. Let's see what has happened with Moser, because this is definitely not intended. 6 seconds, 8 seconds. Why has he come to pits? 9 seconds. That is... even if he were short on fuel, I don't think he would have been that short. But let's see what happened to Aldo Massa, because that is huge. I suspect traffic.
Yeah, he was trying to make his move and get up from the rear of the field. Yeah.
Let's
and
see,
right rear is gone there.
Yeah.
Straight into the fence.
That is unfortunate retirement for Aldo Massa there. It seemed like it was just very small tap there, but just hitting the rear corner, the tire wall, that is enough to throw your steering way off, and it's gonna be undrivable on the oval section.
So I'm trying to understand what happened there with the LMP1, because he had similar pit stop times to all the other drivers, and you don't do tires, of course, so the fuel was there. Wow, I have literally no idea what happened there to Moser. So, very weird situation. 9.3 second stop. It was not a penalty, I think.
No, because penalty would have been like 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Yeah, I think we were going through the standings on each class and situation, how it stands right now with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, so hopefully no one crashes while we run down the top 5 in each category. It's once again Fabrice Cornelis in the lead for the LMP1 field. It's Patrick Wolf in second, Mark Elkman in third, Sai Andrais in fourth, and Julian Groenen in fifth. Then, for the LMP2 class, you see him, Johan Hart is in first place. He was able to pull a little bit of a gap over Carlo Labate in second, is Neil Andrews in third, and then we have Federic Bardellini, and also we have in fifth place Carlos Benedi. Then in the GT field it's Joel Guetz leading the way in front of the two drivers that have been battling lately. They are Maxim Brient and Tim Greven, 0.2 of a second between them, and Cedric Nebelsiek 1 second back, and Carlos Villa is in fifth place. So some huge battles in the GT field right now for the final podium spots. I think we have a three-way battle for P2 right now. So here it is.
I've also heard from the spotter of Moser. He did have it was fuel issue. He had some damage which was causing a massive fuel consumption. So after damage, possibly because of the aero damage, he was just spending way too much fuel per lap, and that was just causing him to run out. So he had to make that pit stop. So the first pit stop, there was no problem there. It was as it should have been, but after the damage, he needed more fuel to finish the race.
Especially on a track where you are flat out so much of the time. I know this being an oval racer, when you have a little bit of damage, sometimes it's not about the top speed, but you can really do that with your driving, but it's the increasing fuel consumption in tire wear, as we see Greven and Brient absolutely side by side as an LMP1 goes by them on the right. We have a 3-wide with an LMP2 there as well. Great stuff with Nebelsiek waiting in the wings there in P4, as these two guys are going to battle it out, as we are only 8 minutes away from the checkered flag. Wow, they were extremely close. Nebelsiek now trying to sneak in in P3. Greven is blocking his wheel on the inside, and he's able to keep the position, but at what cost? Because that was a very, very big lock up there from the red Ferrari.
Yeah, and Greven not looking too happy, waving in front of Nebelsic there.
Yeah.
But don't you love how these cars look with those LED strips? And Greven, he has green LED strips on the windows and the mirrors, and this kind of purple with Nebelsic.
It's one of the things, as we say hi to Andrew Woodhouse watching the broadcast, colleague, it's one of the things I love about modern day endurance racing. Every team comes up with a crazy design for their LED strips and makes the cars look absolutely fantastic at night. As we see right now, too bad we don't have any Fords in the field, because the Ford has some very unique looking LED lights coming out of the back end of the car. Those are absolutely fantastic to look at in the night. As the status quo remains the same, with Brent second, Greven in third, Nebelsic in fourth.
Yes, and right now really the battles are in the GTE class. Here's a battle for the 6th place in class between Salguero, Cort and really Stenny there. As Cort is going for it on the... That is Cort on the outside. Usually, no, that is towards the third one. Yes, outside can work here, but it really depends on the opponent and how well of entry he makes. And Salguero just covering the inside line, not giving Cort any room to put his car there.
Yeah, also he went a little bit wider, Cort, and you have to be careful because of the concrete. As we see, another thing I love about night racing is the new lights that have been invented just a few years ago, I think. These purplish looking lights that come from the back of the cockpit, and they just give this light just enough to keep the driver, from not looking at very bright stuff, and gives the cockpit this very weird but also soothing and relaxing purplish tint, and I absolutely love that as the LMP1s. Once again, one of the LMP1s goes by this GT field. And Cort is 0.2 seconds back. He has all the slipstream, of course, as they go through the bus stop. Lap 38 right now. We've done a lot of laps. It's a very quick lap around here, so we'll have, of course, to keep an eye on when the white flag comes out, as the leader is lapping in the 27th. So we have a few laps left still, as Greven has been passed by Nebelsic on the start-finish line there, and a little bit unstable, and he's in the pit lane and into the fence, and that's race over. From 0 to 0, we have a spin in the first corner. An LMP1 car is around, is in the middle of the racing line there. I think it's Gronen. And now he's back. So everything is happening in the first corner. So Nebelsic went straight to the pits. And Gronen lost the car. Maybe he was a little bit distracted by that spinning GT, and what he did there was extremely dangerous. And that Ferrari was a bit lucky there, and rear wing damage for the Audi unavoidable. He's still running in P5, and he should be good because his opponent is 6.8 seconds back. It's Linef, so he should be good. It was an extremely scary moment.
Yeah, 2 or 3 laps remaining, but just about 3.5 minutes. So let's see, where is Cornelis? He's still on the infield section. But yeah, right now the battles really are in the GTEs. This 3-way battle here between Salguero, Cort and Stenny. Stenny seems to be able to catch up with the Porsche, despite it perhaps being considered the not ideal car for this kind of track.
I think that Nebelsic is still running, by the way, as Stenny goes into the back, basically in the back end of Cort there, and Salguero not far ahead in the distance, 0.3 of a second between these three guys, as they go once again as through the first corner with the number 5 car of Patrick Moser lapping them in the meantime. So I thought it was game over for Nebelsic there, but it wasn't, as Tini gets a little bit of a bump on court. We are at Daytona, so that is allowed, I think. And he gets the move.
Yeah, I think we play with the NASCAR rules here, at least the parts that are fun. No debris caution.
Yeah, hopefully not, as 2 minutes left on the clock.
And behind these guys there's also a small battle here with Alsop and Teske. That is for 9th place in the class. As we see LMP2 coming through. They have very similar paint job, so I suspect are they teammates.
Yeah, it looks like this. They have identical car liveries. And I think that next time it's going to be white flag for Cornelis, because he's still, I think, around halfway mark of the track, and we have 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. So here he is, yeah, passing these cars right now. So it will be white flag for our race leader, as he is flashing his lights left and right, not in celebration, but in, warning to the other guys that he is coming. Next time around, it will be for celebration. Another masterful drive from Cornelis there. Patrick Wolf sits behind him. 1.7 seconds. Sadly, is not going to be enough to have a battle for first place, but these two guys have battled all year long, even when they were like neck and neck, but they still, one day one of the guys was faster, the other week the other guy was faster. Elkeman, good comeback drive, he sits in P3, as Cornelis is dealing with a bit of traffic there, but nothing major, I'd say. The gap still remains 1.7 seconds. Maybe, because, now it's down to 1.1 seconds, because Cornelis is really battling to the traffic. And maybe with the fuel, who knows? Wolf is really closing in. Down to 0.7 of a second.
Yeah, and we are not even on the final straight yet. So yeah. He's struggling with the fuel. Let's start to hear.
We might have a cycling style finish, 0.4 of a second. Wolf closing in on Cornelis as we go into the tri-oval. Wolf trying to get the slipstream onto the start finish line, and by an inch is going to be Cornelis. What a big scare for him as the fireworks go into the air here at Daytona. Elkeman is in third, so it's a 1, 2, 3 for Pure Racing team, as Johan Hart is about to bring home the checkered flag, one of many checkered flags he brought home this year in the LMP2 category. He was under pressure from Labate earlier. He was able to manage the pressure, good pit stop, put a little bit of a gap between himself and the Italian driver, and is going to take the victory in the LMP2 field. Labate is in second, and I think that Neil Andrews will finish the race in third. Yes, here he is, as we see Labate congratulating Hart with a good flash of the lights. Andrews is in third, and wow, a rarity, we can catch all the 3 race-winning cars at once. I mean, before they cross the start-finish line, because of the way they were scattered through the field. So Joel Guetz, the top 3 in GT still have to cross the finish line. Everyone else already did. So we are going to see the podium come through the start-finish line with Joel Guetz once again. Great drive from him. He wasn't starting. He was starting in the top position, but he was not in pole. He was able to weed his way through the field. Aldo Massa was battling with him. He had a crash, so he gave the way to Joel Guetz, and he won the race, the French driver. Fantastic victory for him. is going to be second place for Maxime Briant and third place for Team Greven in this fantastic Wednesday night action at Daytona. And the race is over, so I think we can have the results on your screens right now. Here we go. Fabrice Cornelis is the race winner. What a crazy final lap. Patrick Wolf 0.2 of a second back. Mark Elkeman is in third. Sayandra is in fourth, sorry. And in fifth is Julian Gronen. Then we have Dimitri Linev, Patrick Moser, Antoine Cousin, Stefan Valder, Christoph Weil, Andre Martins from the Iberian Peninsula. Then we have Pascal Kloderlein, Ryan Littlemore, and Benjamin Gregory. He was out of the race, just like Littlemore and Kloderlein, unfortunately, early in the event. The LMP2 field, like we just saw, was dominated, let's see, by Johan Hart, but he was under pressure for most of the race from Carlo Labate. It was Neil Andrews in third, Frederic Spardellini in fourth, Michael Evdoka, despite his mistake, he finishes in fifth, the Euro V8 champion. Carlos Benedi is in sixth, and Maria Hushka is in seventh. Mark Gamak is in 8th and Maria Olwek in 9th. The retirements, Victor Fuente, Jacob Lehmann and Matthew Hogg from Canada. And finally the GT field, some crazy battles all over the field. And I think that Joel Guetz won the race. Maxime Briant is in second, Tim Greven is in third. Then Cedric Nebelsi, Carlos Villa, Juan Diego Salguero, Jason Staney, Casper De Kort, Richard Alsop, Eric Teske, Timo Gorlich, Gabriel Rose, Aldo Massa, Bruno Fontalba, and Barry Morrison. These three guys I just named the retirements in the race tonight. So, whilst we wait for some interviews, I say we just give a little preview, Sam, of what's going to happen next week, because we have Sebring. We talked about it briefly during the broadcast, but we go to a completely different track, bumpy. Every corner has its own intricacies with a little bit of banking, and I think that's where the laser scanning really brings these tracks to life. That final corner, full of bumps, going to be extremely hard. It's a tough track, and many drivers, real-life drivers, say it's much tougher to do 12 hours at Sebring than 24 hours at Daytona.
Yeah, Sebring is really one of those tracks that really highlight you the benefits of laser scanning, and it's just so immediate the effect. You notice every single bump there, and it's just every single corner is bumpy, really. I don't know if there's any... Yeah, I can't remember if there's any perfectly smooth corner in there, especially the turn 1 and the final corner. There's just... You find the racing line based on where it feels less bumpy, and that's kind of what decides it, not necessarily the fastest line.
The surface is also it's bumpy, and it's also sometimes not very grippy, let's say that. There are a couple of sections where it's extremely tough to make a pass, especially for the faster cars. And once again, we are not used to see the LMP1s and the LMP2s in Sebring, due to the fact that the 12-hour race on iRacing is, of course, we use the DP car, and we used to use the LMP2s back in the day, but never the LMP1s, so I think it's going to be a first for these cars. They were very fast today, of course, as expected. It's going to be a much more traditional track for the LMP1s, I'd say, and I think that they will run there in the WEC next season in a companion race to the 12-hour of Sebring. I think it's going to be like a 1,000 kilometers or so to be run on the Sunday after the 12 hours of Sebring, so it's going to be a nice double-header for the IMSA and WEC series. I don't think, Sam, that we have anyone coming for the interviews, sadly. So
yeah, it seems like they are being extra shy tonight, but
yeah,
let's just give them one more chance to go over what we got coming up on the Apex Racing TV this week. So, as usual, we do have tomorrow, on Thursday evening, the BSRTC Pro Series from Spa, which should be great fun. And then on the weekend we have the Sim Racers Asia That is the GTE series, and it's also coming from Daytona. And then on the same day, on afternoon European time, we have the team stream for the iRacing World Championship Series. That is from Indianapolis, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. And on Sunday we will have the IGPS second to last week, the Grand Prix Series, and on the Sunday evening we will have the BSR Grand Tour from Branchats.
I tell you what, Sam, all these drivers are watching the fireworks and they are saying fireworks are better than interviews, and who can blame them, honestly? So yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic the next few days on Apex Racing TV. Subscribe because you don't want to miss our streams. Some very high quality driving, exciting races all week long. And of course, for the Le Mans series, we give you a date, and it's going to be next week, Wednesday, for the final race of the season from Sebring. So, time to wrap up the show. For Sam Kumo, I am Marco Barbanera. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and we'll catch you next time. Good night.